Welcome back to the deep dive. So, for months now, the tragic case involving Yu Menglong has really hung heavy, hasn't it? It's been just clouded by speculation, unanswered questions. We knew the awful outcome, but how it all happened, that part remained frustratingly unclear. Well, today, that's all shifted. We now have detailed analysis of newly released CCTV footage. And this isn't just one camera, it's extensive. A compilation from multiple angles giving us a verifiable timeline. So our mission here is to dig into this evidence, pull out the key insights, and really understand how this visual proof changes the whole story for the investigation and, frankly, for all of us watching.
Okay, let's unpack this. The first thing that jumps out from the sources analyzing this footage is, well, it's the sheer weight of it, both emotionally and analytically. This video isn't just showing us what happened, it's correcting the record. There's relief, I think, that the facts are finally starting to surface, but also just profound sorrow for the suffering that's now confirmed. Critically, it transforms the narrative. It's gone from being this sudden, mysterious event to, well, a chronicled tragedy we can actually track.
And what the recordings show about Yu Menglong himself, it seems to completely contradict those early ideas, doesn't it? Instead of something happening instantly, the cameras apparently show this.
Yeah.
His prolonged struggle. He's seen moving through different non-public areas. Investigators described him looking anxious, distressed. Some witness accounts mention him appearing really burdened, like he was fighting something internally.
Yes, and the footage seems to back that up. It shows him moving through several areas, almost methodically, parts of the building not usually accessed. Investigators use the term calculated isolation. For instance, the sources highlight, 45 minutes recorded in the East Wing stairwell?
45 minutes?
Yeah, a known blind spot in the older security setup. And during that time, he's seen, checking his surroundings, clearly anxious. It wasn't just general distress. It looked like he was actively trying to avoid being seen.
That duration, that extended period, that's the critical revelation here, isn't it?
Absolutely. The early reports suggested everything happened very quickly in a tight time frame. This video evidence it blows that initial assessment out of the water. Menglong was clearly in difficulty, struggling quietly, painfully, for much, much longer than anyone thought. And that changes the focus entirely, you see. It shifts the question from what triggered a sudden event to why was he in this prolonged state? Why this isolation? That extended period of sort of hiding or avoidance, it suggests significant external pressure, moving us away from just a spontaneous internal crisis theory.
And you can only imagine the impact on his supporters. Hearing about that specific timeline, that 45 minutes of him alone and anxious, it's devastating. It confirms their worst fears, really, that his suffering was far more drawn out, more silent than anyone reported. It wasn't a quick tragedy, but this long ordeal.
An ordeal that maybe felt preventable looking back now with this information.
Exactly. Okay, so the footage reestablishes the timeline, shows his distress, but then there's the turning point. The sources call it the most striking moment in the compilation, the sudden appearance of this other figure. Someone authorities have now identified as a suspect.
Right. What's fascinating here is the level of detail they can pull from this visual data now. The suspect is seen near the same area Menglong was last recorded. The dark outfit is noted, sure, but the analysis seems more focused on how this person moved.
How so?
Their movement is described as deliberate. Calculated, even. And crucially, the video shows them navigating known security choke points with surprising ease.
Like they knew their way around.
Precisely. For example, they're tracked entering the server room access corridor. That's a highly restricted area, needs keycard access. It doesn't suggest someone just wandering in randomly. It points towards, pre-existing familiarity with the building's layout, its security weak points.
Okay, that detail about the restricted zone access, that's huge. That really narrows things down, doesn't it? It shifts focus from maybe an outsider to someone with inside knowledge. But let me push back a bit here. Isn't there a risk of jumping to conclusions? The reports keep stressing the footage doesn't show a direct confrontation.
No, that's true. It doesn't.
So are authorities maybe relying too much on inference? Just because someone was nearby and knew the layout, does that prove involvement?
And that is the core legal challenge right now. The sources are clear. Investigators believe this individual played a key role, maybe initiated the chain of events. But the footage itself, regarding the actual harm, it's circumstantial. Their current focus is verifying the suspect's identity definitively and using that visual evidence, the calculated movements, the looking around like they know they might be on camera to establish intent, motive.
Trying to connect the dots between their presence and what happened to Meng Long.
Exactly. Things like repeatedly glancing around. Forensic behavioral analysts are looking at that. Is it just general awareness, or is it anticipating detection? Does it suggest premeditation?
Trying to gauge if this person was there to do something specific, not just coincidentally present.
Right. It paints a picture of someone potentially performing a specific function, not just stumbling into a restricted area.
So for law enforcement, even without that smoking gun moment on camera, this compilation is still seen as a massive breakthrough. It validates suspicions they might have had and gives them hard proof of just how prolonged and potentially calculated this whole ordeal was for Meng Long.
And this is where the technical side gets really interesting. Specialists are digging deep into the footage using advanced digital forensics.
Like what? Enhancing grainy images.
That, but also more. They're using things like photogrammetry software, basically trying to use the video to establish the suspect's exact height, their way of walking, their gait, maybe even subtle identifying features from those, less than perfect frames.
Turning blurry footage into measurable data for court.
That's the goal. Measurable, court-admissible evidence. And they're also cross-referencing every second of that video timeline with witness statements, building access logs, everything they can get their hands on.
Building a really precise, continuous picture of who was where when.
It's incredibly painstaking work, synchronizing everything down to the second, but it's vital for building a rock-solid case.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting for me, the public reaction. When these details about the prolonged suffering came out, the response wasn't just sadness. There's real anger, wasn't there? Anger that this critical time window, this suffering, was missed or maybe downplayed in the initial reports.
Palpable anger, yeah. And it quickly fueled demands for more transparency, for accountability.
And we saw that explode online, right? Fans, citizens, mobilizing almost instantly. These online campaigns are making sure Yu Menglong's final, silent struggle, now visually documented, isn't ignored. It's definitely amplifying the pressure on authorities.
Absolutely. They want legal action that matches the clarity they feel the video provides.
Which puts the authorities in a tough spot, legally speaking.
It does. If we connect this to the bigger picture, this tension is exactly why you hear authorities and legal experts urging patience. The public feels they have the emotional truth, maybe even the factual truth right there on the screen. But the legal bar is incredibly high.
Authentication, chain of custody, all that.
All of it. And you can bet the defense, when it comes to it, will challenge every interpretation. Deliberate movement, they'll argue it's subjective, restricted access. Maybe there was a reason. Proximity doesn't equal causation, they'll argue.
So every single frame has to be verified, time-stamped, proven untampered with.
Exactly. It's a slow, methodical process. Frustrating for everyone watching, I'm sure, but it's necessary to make sure any finding of justice is legally sound and can actually stick.
So stepping back, this footage has done so much more than just fix a timeline. It's given a real visual dimension to a tragedy that felt abstract before. We now know Yu Menglong endured this extended silent struggle, and the investigation, it seems, now has a concrete focus, a specific individual. His legacy. It's not just his work anymore, is it? It's also become about this difficult search for truth, often found where you least expect it, like in grainy security footage.
That's well put. His suffering, now seen, now chronicled by these cameras, it really has become a kind of spark. It ensures no stone is left unturned. It unites his supporters, the investigators, the public in this shared mission for closure, for verifiable justice. The case is now inextricably linked to this visual evidence.
It changes everything.
It really does. So what does this all mean? I think it leaves us with a really important question. For this case, maybe more broadly. When technology, like a simple security camera, initially put there, maybe just to stop theft, when that becomes the main silent witness in such a profound tragedy, what does that do to our expectations? How do we balance the power of that immediate visual truth against the slow, careful, necessary pace of the legal system, of courtroom authentication? There's a real clash there, isn't there, between the power of the image and the deliberate pace of the law? Something to think about.